Hiya, this is KARL-JAMES LANGFORD, Archaeology Cymru. Seek and search at the wonderful site of Boscawen-Un, Cornwall. This site itself is described as one of the best preserved of the Cornish stone rings, but there's been seen extensive changes reported by Stukely in the 1700s, and parts of this wonderful monument have been restored in 1862. There are 19 stones at this site, and there's a great deal of respect that people give to this stone circle. It's an elliptical shape, and with its greatest length being just under 25 meters. So we look at these stones. Some of these stones are under a meter, others are around 1.5 meters. When you think about this, you think about the great landward changes. Were these stones completely covered in soil once? Well, you would think so, because of erosion. Anyway, we look at this monument, and the stone in the centre being just under 2.5 meters in height today, maybe about 0.5 meter or 1 meter below the surface. Some people refer to this as the 9 Maidens, which is quite confusing when there's 19 stones here. Medieval literature claims that this is one of the 3 greatest stone circle sites in Britain, and there's a protective barrier around it, so it's a fairly protective site in the middle of nowhere. It's really difficult to actually get to. As we wander around the stones, some are fairly square, and some are more rotund and rounded, with some of them tapering, lots of the local igneous rock. And we have a very unusual one here, very quartzy igneous type rock that stands out amongst all these other stones. This is actually squared and less roughly hewn than the others. There's a very slabbed lidded stone, very thin. So lots of different stones here, very round stone. And as we come along, we've got an individual here called Bill. Bill, have you got any questions about this site? Is it original?
Was it always like this? Or after field clearance, did somebody come along and put them in this position which they thought was original and possibly wasn't?
Make it a little bit more ordered, yeah?
Yeah, more ordered, yeah.
And this stone itself at a bit of an angle. One of our number from Archaeology Cymru said that might be pointing to one of the constellations or the pole star or something, but maybe it's in its original position or it's moved. Or that could actually be a slab stone for a burial chamber.
Yeah, brought in from elsewhere possibly.
Nice. So as we keep looking around all these stones, and in a moment we get to Jess. We've got a few statements and questions to ask, and we start to get back to where we were. So Jess, come and stand behind the camera and ask me these questions. See what we've got, so we can hear you talk. So go on.
So you want me to ask the questions, yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Stones representing family groupings, so each stone being different, did they represent a different family?
Now this is a concept coming from the stone circles in Orkney, like Stennes and Brodgar. Experts like Dr. Martin Carruthers and other faculty, and I would agree, being one of their master students, that these actually might represent individual family groupings.
Also the other one is stones being more covered.
Now that's one of the things, when we look at Dartmoor, they're finding new stone circles, and you're thinking, well, why are they being found now? And in those upland areas of Dartmoor where there's very little soil, it's obvious that they were covered at one point, and as with erosion and changes in the environment, the stones have become more and more revealed.
And the last one was it maybe a burial sort of mound with a kist in the middle?
Now this is one of the big questions. When we look at Newgrange in Ireland, we think of a central burial chamber and these being curbstones around the outside. and then over time the soil being removed to reveal a stone circle, or was it a case that these stones around the outside created a curb around the monument? But if we go back to the Bronze Age theory of this being a stone circle, what is that stone doing in the middle? It's unusual to have a stone in the middle. That could actually represent a capstone from a burial chamber. So maybe the phases of this site may be Neolithic, 6,000 years ago. By the time we get to the Bronze Age, 4,000 years ago, the meaning of what this site meant has completely changed. Thank you very much.
Right.
And there you go, Jess, smile. Thank you. This is KARL-JAMES LANGFORD for Seek and Search at the wonderful site, and we now go to site number 3.